Are you tired of getting outgunned and outplayed by someone with a better controller than you? But you don't want to shell out the higher price point of a Scuff or Elite Series controller? Well, I got the product for you! It's called the Fusion Pro 2. It's your budget-friendly version of the Elite Series controller, or the great value version of it, depending on how you look at it. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Fusion Pro 2 controller, and seeing if it's a good option for you, or if you should save your money and buy the Elite Series or Scuff, depending on how deep your pockets are. This controller starts off at $70, and you can find this thing off Amazon, Walmart, Target, even GameStop, if you actually go there. I know I don't. You may be asking, what do you get with a $70 controller? You get a nice premium box. After cutting these two tabs on the side, it opens up to the controller and its carrying case. You also get two faceplates, a white one and a black one. You also get two different joysticks as well. One joystick is slightly taller, and you get a curved one that's more on par with the PlayStation controllers. I would also like to mention that this controller is wired only, and it is quite heavy for being a wired controller as well. I know that this is one of the biggest complaints by editor creators and users of this controller, is that it's heavy for no reason. They put a bunch of weights in here, taking up precious space in the controller to give it a better premium feel. Like feeling? But after using it for a bit, I actually don't mind it. I still think they could have used the extra space to put batteries or something that's a little more important. Moving back to the functionality of the controller. If you're looking to remove the faceplate of your controller, it is quite easy to do. To remove your faceplate of the controller, locate where the audio port is on the back side of the controller. There's a nice little plastic slot that they carved into it or molded into the plastic. All you have to do is basically grab the tip and pull up. The faceplate will come right off, quick and easy. They are magnetic, so you don't have to worry about breaking anything. It's a great idea, especially if you're buying this for kids or you're a kid yourself and you're looking for a controller. And to put it back on, all you have to do is line up the joysticks and it'll clip right back in place. If you flip your controller to the back side, this is where the paddles are hiding. You get a whopping 4 paddles, 2 small and 2 big. To remove your paddles altogether, they made a neat feature called the paddle pack. It is a square on the back of the controller that holds all your paddles. To remove the paddle pack, on the bottom side of the paddle pack is a button. All you have to do is push it in and pull up. The little clip will come right out and you remove the paddle pack. Inside your carrying case, there's a cover to cover up the gold connectors on the back side of your controller. So when you're not using your paddles, don't have to worry about damaging your connections on the controller. Moving over to how to change your joysticks. Earlier on in the video, I showed you how to remove your faceplate. Do the same thing to remove your joysticks. Go ahead to the audio port and grab your faceplate and remove it. Then go and grab the joystick on the controller and just pull right out. It will feel a little tough at first, but then it should just come right up. Then go in your case and grab the joystick you would like to put on the controller to replace the one you just took off. Then make sure you line up the stick with the joystick and push down. You might need to use a little bit of pressure to get it on there, but once it's on, go ahead and put the faceplate back on the controller and we're all good to go. Now, here's where my complaints of this controller will start. One of my biggest complaints with this controller so far has been the paddle pack and the paddles feeling really loose. When you're playing with the paddles, they seem to wiggle a whole lot up and down. When I use them sometimes, I feel like I'm not even hitting the button at all, or the button will just get stuck. There was another problem earlier on when I first got this controller. On the paddle pack, there's a bunch of gold connections. One of the connections had a weird spot where it connects to the controller. Because of that, the top left paddle would not work. After cleaning it off with some alcohol, it seemed to work okay, but it still will randomly not work. I'm just gonna blame this on bad quality control and leave it at that. One of the things that I mentioned earlier on in the video was them about adding weights in the controller. Couldn't they just add a battery pack? Oh, I'm sorry, it would have cost too much. Adding a battery pack to this controller and making it wireless instead of wired would make this controller 100 times better. But that's just my hot take, and it probably would have cost them a few extra cents. But my opinion of this controller is still very positive. Do I think that the $70 controller can compare to its bigger brother? Absolutely. This is a wonderful controller for $70. Considering that the default Xbox controller is 60 bucks, this is 10 bucks more, and I honestly think it's worth the extra 10 bucks. Especially if you don't have the cash to shell out for Elite Series or Scuff, but you're looking for a competitive controller. This is a great option for you, even though the downside of the paddles, it's still a very good controller. This brings me to the end of my video and the review of the Fusion Pro 2. I honestly think it's a very good controller for $70. You are getting what you paid for, and I'm gonna leave it at that. It's a good controller, it's got plenty of customization to it, and honestly, for $70, this thing kills it. But I am gonna leave it there for you guys to decide that this is a good option for you. This is just my input of the stuff that was wrong with this controller and my issues that I've had and my opinion of it. Honestly, I think this thing kills it for the category it's in, especially considering what I said earlier about it being 10 bucks more than the default Xbox controller. Well, this brings us to the end of the video. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next.